lesson are introduction, comparing quantities, ratio, percentage, finding discounts, profit loss percentages, sales tax, simple interest versus compound interest, calculating compound interest, sales tax. So what comes to your mind when you think of comparing quantities? What kind of quantities are we talking about? Let us take a very simple example. On the screen, you see two girls. So let's say that they are two sisters. Now, if I ask you who is taller, so what is that quantity which decides who is taller? So obviously their height. Now, let's say that the elder sister is 138 centimeters tall and the younger sister is 125 centimeters tall. Now, when you compare these two quantities, that is when you compare these two numbers which are basically height of these two girls, what do you see? You find that 138 is greater than 125, which clearly tells us that the elder sister is taller than the younger sister. So here we have done a comparison of the heights of these two girls. Now let's take one more example. So let's say that there are two kids, A and B. Now let's say this is A and this is B. So A scored 70 out of 100 in his examination and B scored 80 out of 200 in his examination. Now looking at the scores, you might think that B scored more because B scored 80 and A scored 70, right? But we just can't compare their scores. We also need to take into consideration the total marks, because if you look at A, he scored 70, which is less than 80, but he scored it out of 100, whereas B scored 80 out of 200. So therefore we just can't compare the numerators and arrive at a result because the denominators in this case are different. So how do we compare that who scored more? So for that, what we can do is we can look at their percentages. So when you look at A, we see that A scored 70%. 70% means if we assume that the total marks is 70, so A scored 70 out of 100. Well, in this case, the total marks is anyways 100. Now, in the second case, if you find out the percentage, it will come out to be 40%. That means had the score been 100, in that case, this B would have scored some 40. So that is how we calculate the percentages. Now, if you know the percentage scored by A and B, you can very easily compare who scored more. So what can you say? Who scored more? Obviously, A scored more. So in this lesson, we are going to learn more about percentages. Now, percentage has a lot of application. For example, when it comes to your bank loans, when it comes to your fixed deposits in bank. So everywhere you see the interest rate is in percentage. So percentage has many different applications in our day-to-day life. For example, when there is a 50% discount going on in the nearest mall, what do? You hurry up and go for shopping, isn't it? So percentage is used in a lot of places. So in this lesson, we will look at percentages from the perspective of interests, discounts, sales tax, VAT, and all of that. Now let us look at one more example which talks about comparison. So here we see two different shopkeepers, shopkeeper 1 and shopkeeper 2. Now if I ask you who is making more profit, how would you know who is making more profit? Now let us say these two shopkeepers, they are selling different goods. Maybe shopkeeper 1 is selling clothes, shopkeeper 2 is selling stationeries, or shopkeeper 1 is selling grocery. So they are selling different items at different rates and making some profit, but both of them are making profit. So if we have to compare who is making more profit, so again we need some common parameter to decide who is making more profit. So one way of deciding is percentage. So if you say that, okay, shopkeeper 1 is making 12% profit and shopkeeper 2 is making 11% profit. So it becomes very simple. That means that if the total is 100, then out of 100, shopkeeper 1 is making 12 profit, and out of 100 shopkeeper 2 is making 11 profit. So obviously shopkeeper 1 is making more profit. So when we talk about percentage, we talk about a common ground or a common platform which makes it easier for us to compare two different quantities. Now, instead of using percentage, if we would have told that, okay, shopkeeper 1 is making a profit of some rupees, again, we would not know that that rupees are out of how much rupees, like that rupees compared to how much money which he had invested. So that comparison would have not been there. So therefore, percentage helps in those kind of comparisons between two different quantities. That strikes our mind when we talk about comparing quantities is ratio. So ratio is a comparison of two quantities. So what exactly do we, how do we express ratio? Let's say that these are the two girls. Let's call them A and B. Okay, now how do we express ratio? Let's say that we say that height of A is 150 centimeters and height of B is 130 centimeters. So what is the ratio of heights of A and B? So the ratio of the heights would be equal to 150 centimeter divided by 130, which is equal to 15 by 30, which is equal to 15:13. So this is the ratio of the heights of A and B respectively. Now, another way of expressing ratio is that, let's say that we say that height of A is twice the height of B. That means if height of B is x, then height of A will be 2 times x or 2x. So in this case, what would be the ratio? So in this particular case, the ratio of height of A to height of B would be 2x divided by x, which is 2 by 1, which is 2:1. Now, sometimes it might also happen that the units are different. For example, it is told that height of A is 150 centimeters and height of B is 1300 millimeter. So let's say this is how the heights of A and B are given. And you have to find out the ratio of heights of A and B. So the ratio would be 150 divided by 1300. Is it so? No, that's not the case, because one height is in centimeter, the other height is in millimeter. So we can only compare two quantities which are in the same unit, because see, centimeter and millimeter, they are both two different units. So even though the number, if you look at the number, so 1300 is bigger than 150, but when you look at the unit as well, then there might be a change, right? So in that case, you might find that 150 centimeter is greater than 1300 millimeter. So units play a very important role when we talk about ratio. So in this case, what we will do, we will convert one of these into the other unit such that both the heights are in the same unit. So let's say that we try to convert it in centimeter. So 150 is already in centimeter. So how will we convert 1300 millimeter to centimeter? By dividing it by 10. So therefore, this will be 150 by 130, which is equal to 15:13. So, very important point, to compare two quantities, their units must be the same. Now, ratio is not the only thing which is useful in comparing quantities. Percentage is another useful parameter. The word percentage is derived from a Latin word percentum. What does that mean? Per centum means how much out of 100. So per centum is per 100. So you would have seen that whenever we talk about percentage, you say that I scored 70% in maths. That means you scored 70 out of 100 in maths. So that is what percentage means. Let us take an example. Okay, before that, percentages are numerators of fractions with denominator 100. So that means the denominator is 100. For example, you talk about 70%, which is 70 out of 100. So the denominator is 100. So how do we write this? We write only the numerator and then we give percentage symbol, because the percentage symbol itself tells you that the denominator is 100. Okay, let's look at this example. So let's say that Mr. and Mrs. Smith they are going out on a long drive of 100 kilometers. So they are going to cover a distance of 100 kilometer, and out of this 100 kilometer, Mrs. Smith drove the car for 75 kilometers, and the remaining distance, which is 25 kilometers, was covered by Mr. Smith. Okay, so now it's really difficult for one person to drive 100 kilometers at a stretch, so they divided the work. Okay, so now if we want to find out that what percentage of the total distance was covered by Mrs. Smith and what percentage of the total distance was covered by Mr. Smith, so how will we find that out? Okay, let's first look at Mrs. Smith. So Mrs. Smith has covered 75 kilometers out of 100 kilometers. That means if we talk about it in terms of percentage, we can say that Mrs. Smith covered 75% of the total distance. Similarly, if you talk about Mr. Smith, he covered 25 kilometers out of 100 kilometers, which is 25%. So 25% distance was covered by Mr. Smith and 75% distance was covered by Mrs. Smith. So when we make use of percentage, it becomes more generalized. Now you might ask that, okay, in this case, the total distance itself was 100 kilometers. So how does denoting it by percent helps? Well, the usefulness will not be much seen in this case. The usefulness will be more seen when the total distance covered is not actually 100 kilometers. Let's say that the total distance that they are planning to cover is not 100 kilometers but 20 kilometers. So they are planning to go on a short trip, let's say. So this time the total distance is only 20 kilometers, and again we want to find out what percentage was covered by Mr. Smith and what percentage was covered by Mrs. Smith. So in this case, out of 20 kilometers, Mrs. Smith has covered 12 kilometers and Mr. Smith has covered 8 kilometers. Now let us try to find out the percentage in this case. So in this case, Mrs. Smith covered 12 kilometers out of 20 kilometers. Similarly, Mr. Smith covered 8 kilometers out of 20 kilometers. So we did not get a percentage. Now how do we get a percentage? Percentage means we need to find out a fraction such that the numerator is any number and the denominator is 100. Right, that is a percentage. So in this case we need, so here whatever we are seeing, whether it is 12 by 20 or it is 8 by 20, these are fractions. So we need to convert these fractions into fractions with denominator equal to 100. So that is our aim. So how do we do that? So in order to do that, let's see what's the approach that we are going to follow. Now can you tell me, if there exists any such number which when multiplied to the denominator will give you 100, because your aim is to find out a fraction such that the denominator is 100. So in order to get 100 in the denominator, what should you do? You should multiply the denominator by 5, because 20 into 5 is 100. Now if you multiply the denominator by 5, you also need to multiply the numerator by 5 so that the value of the overall fraction remains the same. Remember, we learned about equivalent fractions. So if you multiply both numerator and denominator by the same number, then whatever result you get, that is an equivalent fraction, right? So in this case, the numerator would be 12 into 5, that is 60. So 60 out of 100. What does that mean? That means 60%. So basically Mrs. Smith covered 60% of the total distance. Similarly, we can do the same for Mr. Smith. So here also let's divide the numerator and denominator by, we multiply the numerator and denominator by 5. So we get 40 by 100, which is 40%. So with this simple concept of percentage, we can very easily tell that, okay, Mrs. Smith covered 60% of the distance and Mr. Smith covers 40% of this distance. Now, it doesn't matter whether the total distance was 20 kilometers or 40 kilometers or 100 kilometers, but the comparison can happen by saying that 60% for Mrs. Smith and 40% for Mr. Smith. Now, as the total distance varies, this exact value of 60% or 40% will also change. For example, when it is 20 kilometer, then 60% of 20 kilometer is 12 kilometer. When it is 100 kilometer, then 60% of 100 kilometers is 60 kilometers. So in that fashion, as the total distance will change, the exact distance covered by each of them will also change. saw that there exists a relationship between ratio and percentages. So often in order to crack day-to-day problems, we need to convert ratio to percentages or percentages to ratio. So how do we convert ratio to percentages? So now there is a very simple tip that you can follow. First is divide each part by sum of all the parts. Multiply each by 100 to get percentage for each part. So did you understand anything from these? No? No problem. Let's take an example. So let us suppose that you have to convert this ratio 2:3:5 into percentage. So when I say into percentage, this basically means that it is talking about three different persons, some comparison between three quantities. For example, it could be that it is talking about the marks, the ratio of the marks obtained by three students is 2:3:5. Right? That means if student A has scored 2x, that then student B would have scored 3x, then student C would have scored 5x. So let me give you an example. Let's say that there are three students A, B, C. So if A scored 20, then B scored 30 and then C scored 50. So in this case, if you find out their ratio, it would be 2:3:5. So this is the meaning of 2:3:5. Now we have to convert it into percentage. So we will get a percentage for each of these students A, B and C. And so each part, so here in this ratio, we call 2, 3 and 5 as each part of this ratio. So let's see how do we handle this. So the first step is divide each part by sum of all the parts. So sum of all the parts is 2 plus 3 plus 5, which is 10. This is the sum of all the parts. So for the first part, 2 divided by sum of all the parts. For the second part, it would be 3 divided by sum of all the parts. And for the third part, it would be 5 divided by sum of all the parts. So that's our step 1. Step 2 is multiply each by 100 to get percentage for that part. So you multiply this by 100, multiply this by 100, multiply this by 100. So what do you get in this case? This would be 20. In this case, this would be 30, and in this case, this would be 50. So basically, it is 20%, 30%, and 50% respectively. So in this fashion, you converted it into the ratios into percentage. Now, do you understand the logic behind this? Now, when you say 2:3:5, that means the total number of parts that you have is 10. Out of the 10 parts, 2 parts belong to, let's call that this 2:3:5 is the ratio of the marks obtained by students A, B and C. So this actually means that A scored 2 parts out of the total number of parts. The total number of parts would be all the parts, the sum of all the parts of A, B and C. So A scored 2 out of 10, B scored 3 out of 10 and C scored 5 out of 10. Now that does not literally mean that they scored 5 out of 10 because we do not even know what is the total marks of the exam. So this just tells that if 10 is the total marks, in that case A scored 2, B scored 3 and C scored 5. Now we have to find out how much would A, B and C score if the total marks is 100. So that's the concept of percentage. So whenever we talk about percentage, we want to find out how much out of 100. So in this case, when you say A is 20%, that means if total marks was 100, then A would score 20. If total marks would have been 100, then B would have scored 30. And similarly, if the total marks would have been 100, then C would have scored 50. So that's the concept of percentage. And these are the 2 simple steps to convert any ratio into percentage. So let us take one more example. Convert the following ratio to percentage. So this is a simpler one. 3:4. So what do we do? Which are the 2 parts? 3 and 4. So let's divide this by sum of the 2 parts. That is divided by 3 plus 4. So this is 3 by 7 and this becomes 4 by 7. And then what we do? We multiply this by 100. So this becomes 300 by 7%. This becomes 400 by 7%. So 300 by 7 would be 42.85% and 400 by 7 would be 57.14%. So in this fashion, we have converted the ratio into percentage.